All right, Pashtani Durani is the founder and also the executive director of Learn, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to educating women in Afghanistan. And Pashtani, if I can begin just with that. I mean, if the Americans had any success story during the invasion after 2001, it was that they had this ability to reopen schools and reopen society to women. And all of that seems to be in grave danger now.
Yes, definitely. That was one of those things that the West or the Americans could claim: women rights, political rights, constitutional rights, human rights. Although they tried abusing it, but yeah, apart from that, they did highlight a lot of things. So including girls' education, it was, major trophy for them to celebrate in the West that this is how your tax money is spent. But what people didn't knew was they were enabling warlords within the country. They were enabling corrupt leaders within the country. There were no checks and balances. Girls' education, I know, fighting ghost schools with my government all the time, asking them if that my district had ghost schools, ghost teachers, ghost students. And the West failed in this sense, where they were not able to hold on to that check and balance. You are giving them money, but where is your check and balance? And that's where they fail immensely, especially when it comes to girls' education. If they had ensured in the past 20 years that all girls from all areas, all geographies had access to education, all boys would have access to education, we wouldn't be standing here.
Well, I mean, that's a tough verdict on American efforts, isn't it? Because, in my time in Afghanistan, talking to everybody from young captains on the ground with US forces to American generals, this constant struggle and challenge to try to stop the systemic corruption was mountainous.
Unbelievable. That's what I'm trying to say. I am going to give you an example. The US, the West, they gave funds to entities that were run by the government officials. So for example, person works in the morning in the presidential palace in the ministry, is on a higher position. Then in the evening, they have a side business, which is an NGO or something like that. And it's not very well received in Afghanistan right now. The NGO business is not, it's sort of business for them, right? And they used to run these NGOs or these CSOs, and they used to get funds from their ambassador friends or all these bigger organizations as donor organizations. So I think if they wanted to do something, they would stop there. They would stop donating funds or funding people who are already in the government, and they would actually empower the civil society or the people on the ground or the rural population. So
but
yes,
I mean, would you say that the US officials were US officials trying to get the money to the right place, or they simply didn't bother?
Not only the US officials, the whole West, everyone involved in Afghanistan on one level or another. I mean, there are NGOs from even Bangladesh, like BRAC, and they are also involved in Afghanistan. So I'm not just going to highlight the side of the West or the US only. I'm trying to say one thing, that they tried, but they didn't try so much that they could get it to actual people.
Being in Kabul, I was there in 2001 after the Taliban were forced from power. And then going back, every few years I would go back and do stories. And over that time, visually, just driving around that main center in Kabul, where government members owned homes, increasingly seeing the construction of small homes becoming bigger homes, becoming villas, and they were in many ways monuments to how Afghan authorities were siphoning off funds that were really meant for people.
Exactly. I mean, one house in Wazir Akbar Khan costs around $2,000, right? For rent per month. I can literally build a school, a digital school with that for a whole village. So can you see the difference? You like one whole year in Wazir Akbar Khan is equal to 12 district schools, 12 village schools within 12 villages. So yeah, my government is corrupt. That I totally get, and that's the reason. Like 40 countries helped them stabilize, and they were still not there to fight back terrorism or like neighboring countries. What were they doing?
What is happening now? The Taliban are literally washing over cities there, taking back huge swaths of territory. You must be shocked.
I'm shocked, I'm mortified, I'm horrified, I'm hopeless. A lot of words and adjectives for you, but all of those because I had to leave everything in the morning. I had to leave. You are one person one day, you are in your community, you belong there, you talk to people, you are one of them, and then the other day you just don't have anything. All you have to do is run, and you have to do is leave, because that's the only option to survive. So right now people within the city, in the Kandahar city, the Taliban are celebrating, they are firing celebratory fires, there's no resistance. People are scared to talk back or even say that we don't want Taliban. So things are getting back to normal, but it's Taliban, so I'm not sure what to expect anymore. Cities are just falling like dominoes.
Have you been on the run yourself, or what are you doing to protect yourself?
I had to leave my house in the morning.
So as of today,
Yeah,
you left your house and you've had to relocate
yeah. Because I run an NGO, I am working with girls, and these are things that people don't receive well when it comes to the Taliban. Even if I'm not just gonna sit here and assume and all that. I remember a few days ago I was talking on this news channel. I received in the tweet reply the Taliban troll. He's like, you are in some serious need of some lashing. So I'm pretty sure if though not all Taliban feel the same, a few of them pretty much would feel the same to lash me or murder me. So yeah.
Somebody said that you tweeted that an Afghan journalist had put you on a Taliban end list.
No. A foreigner journalist put me on Afghanistan endgame list. Endgame. It's like, this irony people use in the West when it comes to Afghanistan. It was used during the Cold War and the Soviet and all that. So it's not right. It's not humane.
But being on that list represents what? I mean, that what are they trying to imply? That the Taliban get even revenge list would include you?
Probably not. I'm not sure. I don't know what to say. I'm going to be very honest. There are times where people are like, oh, you're just taking too much pressure. But then I know for sure, if I'm talking from yesterday and I have received so many threats in my inbox is filled with that. They're like, okay, you should be doing this. You should be not doing this. You are in need of lashing. You are in need of hiding. You should leave your house, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to say, okay, and I'm going to play the victim card that majority of people have done. And it's very worn out that, oh, I'm a victim here, blah, blah, blah. But I lost my political identity, right? I lost my right to the vote, right? I lost my right as a woman in Afghanistan to education, to socialize, to mobilize. That's losing everything. That's already revenge that they are getting. So even if I live, what is my life? I'm hopeless.
And all of the people that you've helped all over the country, those young women that were able to go out and actually go to school and leave the house and work and have a voice. What's happening to them? Some people have said the Taliban are forcing them back into marriages of Taliban fighters, and women are being told to stay indoors. What is happening?
I remember getting in touch with this Kandahari woman yesterday, and she was like, I left my house, the district, because I have young daughters and I was in the city. We gave them groceries last week, and she says that now I don't even know what to do because they are literally here. What to do. So women, not only that, like, not only access to education, like it's a privilege for us. I'm going to be honest. Going out is a privilege because we don't have that kind of social norm to go out. But apart from that, getting forcefully married to someone, that's something monstrous. And that's what monsters do.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And the Taliban hasn't changed in 20 years.
No, not at all. Not at all.
What will they do to the country if they can control it?
If they controlled it, our economy will go down. People will stop going to educational institutions, not only girls, but also boys. People will lose jobs. A country will go back into poverty because Taliban are guerrilla warfare, or like, an organization that fights. There is no political institution that they have built. There is no political institution that they run. And there is no consensus on how political or governments are run. So even if they make one, I'm not sure how they're going to run it, how they're going to develop an economy, how they're going to compete with the regional powers or even cooperate with them. I'm not sure. So the country is going to fall back in economy, in poverty, in everything that we right now have gained, even with the corrupt government.
I mean, it's really tragically turning the clock back. And you would think that for the sake of keeping a few thousand American troops there, to keep the Afghan government steady, that President Biden has made a critical mistake here in foreign policy, US foreign policy, because the Taliban will also embrace groups like Al-Qaeda again.
I feel like, even if President Biden wanted to withdraw to make his comeback, like, very famous, that he's better than Trump, he should have done this. But he shouldn't have legitimized the Taliban in the process. He shouldn't have enforced the Doha deal on us. He shouldn't have let Khalilzad dictate our, our lives for us. He shouldn't have let that happen. He enabled that. I'm worried about that part. I'm not worried about a few troops withdrawing, because a few troops cannot defend the whole country. I'm worried, and I'm I'm sad about the fact that he legitimized everything when it came to Doha, to Qatar, to Taliban, what they stood for, how the violence escalated, how they didn't even try stopping it.
Do you think that the Americans made a mistake by not confronting Pakistan? Because the Pakistan are supporting the Taliban, and we keep talking about the Taliban like they come from.
Yeah, but nobody talks about Pakistan.
It is about
out of nowhere. Yeah.
The former Canadian ambassador,
yeah,
Chris Alexander, who I know well, just said, look, this is about Pakistan. We have never taken on Pakistan, and Pakistan, the ISI, is controlling what's going on in Afghanistan. Why did the Americans, why does the international community not confront Pakistan?
But I think the US made a serious, grave mistake when it came to legitimizing Taliban, but also at the same time turning a blind eye toward when it comes to Pakistan.
Where do you go from here? You've moved your house, and you fear a knock on the door.
I don't know. I don't have a concrete plan. I'm just on the move. I'll keep moving until I cannot.
Will you try to leave the country?
Not sure. I don't know. I have a lot of family here. I have my father buried here. I can't just leave.
Plus, most Afghans cannot pick up and go anyway.
Exactly.
What comes next? What comes next? What do you think tomorrow we will see?
We already lost. Now all we have to do is wait. What happens next? We, as a person, all I can do is ask the world to stop it from happening, right? All I can do is talk and talk and talk, because that's the only thing I can do as a human rights activist. That's the only thing I can do. I'm not sure what the government, what the leaders, or what the West will do.
All right, Pashtani Durani, good luck to you. And I witnessed so much progress in Afghanistan, not all of it good, and it was multi-layered, so many different problems. But Afghanistan came a long way.
We did.
After 2001, and it is tragic to see it going this way. And I think, and you maybe want to correct me, the West will have to come back. They will have to come back again if this doesn't go well with the Taliban, and nobody thinks it's going to go well. I mean, that Afghanistan will once again be used as a launchpad for terror from some groups, and that the West is making a big mistake by leaving.
Maybe not even terror, but also at the same time, it's a mess. It's a chaos right now. So, and chaos leads to more refugees, to more people displaced, right? And that's also a lot of pressure on the West, because a lot of people would want to leave for the West, right? So that's also a huge humanitarian catastrophe and crisis that's already happening in Yemen and Syria. And if we are added to that, the world is already full of refugees already. There are a lot of Afghans who are already refugees in the West, right? So it's already a mess. Even if the West doesn't come back. It's not like all they have to do is come back as saviors, but it's like a mess that they created and they didn't clean after themselves. It's that way. It's that what I'm talking about.
Pashtana, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Good luck
having
to
me.
you.
Take care. Bye-bye.